Hello, my name's Miss Murphy and I'm the subject leader for RE. This afternoon I'm going to talk you through some strategies that students can use to prepare and revise in RE at Key Stage 3, which will help, as you can see on the board, to scaffold and build them up through Key Stage 3 RE all the way through to their GCSE and beyond. So to begin, the starting point for all students before revising is to understand what it is that they need to be revising and to be able to go through that list and check what they need to focus their revision on. So all students in RE do have a year group teams page as well as their own class teams page. As you can see on the screen here, an example of the DP1, which is the data point assessment in January. Year 9 here have been sent a list which gives them the revision list, which includes revision videos for every topic, a link to their knowledge organisers and all of the lesson PowerPoints. So via this Teams they can access the list of topics that they need to prepare for, as well as all of the resources that they can use to prepare for their upcoming exams. And when students click onto that link to look at their checklist, it will look at something a little bit like this. So they will be given an overview of the topics that they need to revise. So here, for example, you can see the Year 9 revision checklist for January, which is philosophy and the Children of God unit that they have studied so far. And then as they scroll down through the document, they will see this checklist broken down further with various revision videos that they can use, where they simply need to click onto the link and it will take them through to the video. What students should be relatively confident with at this point, because we do it a lot in class, is understanding how to make notes when they watch a video. So how to colour code their notes, how to summarise what they are watching, and then how to use those revision notes to prepare for upcoming questions and exams. In addition to the year group teams pages, all students will also have their own class team. So again, this is just an example of a class team on the screen here. And within their class team, students have more specific details, for example, how lessons have been tweaked for their class, where classes have completed dirt work or practice questions together. Those resources will be there specifically for that class. So in their class team, students will have the same folders for each topic. They will have keyword folders, revision guides and knowledge organisers, activities that they can complete, and all of the lessons that they've covered in class, and students can review these at any time. It is here as well that students will be able to access their assignments. So their homework will be set via their class team, and in the channels on the left they will see topic breakdown. So if, for example, they get to the end of year 9 and they really need to focus their revision on Judaism, they can click on the Judaism channel and it will take them to all of the resources specifically for that unit. And we do use both the year group team for whole year group announcements, and then for more specific announcements between teachers and their classes, they will use the individual class teams like this one to send notices and reminders. So within both class teams and year group teams, all students at Key Stage 3 have access to their knowledge organisers, which provide an overview of each topic that they study. Now, there are lots of ways in which students can use these to help to prepare for exams and to work with friends and family to prepare in their revision. So some examples of things that students can do with their knowledge organisers is they can make their own revision cards. They could design their own knowledge organiser, so taking the information from the knowledge organiser provided and completing their own summarised version. I am going to talk through a way of doing that shortly. Knowledge organisers are brilliant for having friends or relatives quiz students, and for students to be able to design their own revision quizzes, to quiz themselves, to bring to class, and we can use them in lesson, for example, and to design their own practice questions using the key RE command terms. So all students in year 7, 8 and 9 are used to their assessments having a focus on literacy, understanding, which is where they are quizzed, so short answers, discernment topics, which is their extended writing, which is usually focusing on the skills of describing explaining, discussing and evaluating. And then they have a responding task where they need to reflect on what they've been studying and apply it to the world around them. So students are able to think of a topic and then apply the key terms on the board here and create their own revision practice questions. So students can find these knowledge organisers in the year group teams if they go onto class materials. We try and encourage students to not see revision as something that they do just before an assessment or an exam or a data point, but actually something which is ongoing throughout their studies. And homework is brilliant for that. All students are set homework every single Friday in RE, and at Key Stage 3 this is always a quiz which is set via Teams. So it's through Microsoft Forms. Students will get a link every Friday and it's due for the next Friday, and they simply need to click on the link and complete the quiz questions. These are brilliant because students are able to get instant feedback, so they can straight away see which questions they've got right and which ones they've got wrong. Our advice then is that any that students are getting wrong, they should have a notepad that they write them out and write the correct answer out, so that they are constantly reviewing where they need to focus their revision on. So these are so important. If students are completing their homeworks every Friday, then when they reach each assessment point, whether that be a deeply marked piece of work in class or a data point assessment or an end of year exam, they've covered the core knowledge and they've been recalling and revising it throughout the year every week. If students do struggle to complete homework at any point, we do also have laptops available in the RE department where students are more than welcome to come and complete their homework after school with us on a Wednesday or a Thursday after school. So taking which topics students feel that they need to focus in more detail on, whether that be when they are going through their checklist or knowledge organiser and they are noticing which topics they're struggling on, or whether they are working out which quiz questions they are struggling on the most as they go through each of the homeworks. Students should then go and use BBC Bitesize to research these topics in further detail. Students are welcome to take their class workbooks home, which they use to record all of their class notes and their revision resources, so they can use those as well for each data point assessment. But lots of students prefer to keep their book in school and then use the online resources. So the best one that is available at the moment for RE is BBC Bitesize. And similarly to the way in which we lay our teams out, there are key topics which students click through. There are larger chunks of information, and then there are quizzes where students can reflect on what they have learned. One way of revising which we introduced last year, and it's been really effective with our students, is something called a folding frenzy. So on the board here you can see an overview of what a folding frenzy is, and I will just take you through an example so that you can see it, because this is an excellent technique for students to complete on their own, to complete at home with you, to complete after school, and it's something that they can keep with them and test themselves then. So what all students need to do is they take an A4 piece of paper, they fill the sheet with everything that they know, they add to that using a different colour, they then fold that and do the same, but this time in mind map form, so it's half the size. They then fold it again, so it's half the size again, and complete bullet points as a flashcard. And then finally they fold it one more time and just create a small card of symbols, and they then use that in reverse to test themselves. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of an example of what that looks like. So the first page, for example, will look something a little bit like this. This is an example of a Year 9 Judaism folding frenzy. So the first page, as I said, should be an A4 sheet. And initially, students should write everything that they know about that topic. They should have the heading at the top, subheadings for topics within that topic, and they should write everything that they know about that topic. They should then check their classwork, revision guides, homework, BBC Bitesize, and add anything that they forgot in a different colour so that they can see what they remembered and what they needed support with. We do always encourage students, like you can see on the example here, to highlight keywords and key sources of wisdom. Students will then fold their A4 sheet, and like you can see on the board, they will cut their revision down then to a mind map. So again, they will do that from memory, so they'll try to remember everything that they've just written on their A4 sheet. They will then check back, and anything that they missed, they will add in a different colour. And very similarly, they will fold that one more time to do their final page of note taking, where they will cut this down to a flashcard. So this should just be very short bullet points. Again, starting off by writing everything that they can remember from their mind map, and then checking back and adding in a different colour so that they can constantly see, are there any common themes or common key terms that they are forgetting between each stage? Then they know what they need to test themselves on and focus their revision on. So the final step then is that they fold. At this point, the sheet is quite small, and they just use symbols. So the idea of this is these should be used as trigger symbols, whereby students can look at the image, and just from the image they should be able to talk about verbally all of the concepts that they've just written and summarised on their flashcard mind map and full notes page. So for example, here a student might look at the picture of the Torah, and they may try and recall stories like Genesis and Exodus from the Torah, and talk about how the Torah is found in the synagogue, about how it's a source of authority. So students should be able to then use the symbols to test themselves. Some students prefer to use trigger words, so they may just have a few key words instead of imagery. And then the final step is to test yourself. So students should then look at the symbols, see what they can recall. Check back to the flashcard. Did they remember everything from the symbols? Anything that they didn't remember, they should highlight. Similarly, they should work all the way back to the notes page. And when they get back to the notes page, they should be highlighting anything that they didn't manage to recall. And again, focusing on those topics that they may have struggled to recall. Can they design a question? Can they design a revision resource specifically on that topic?